thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to talk about how to apply binding with your sewing machine and finish it up with the sewing machine. Now, I personally don't mind hand sewing my binding down, but sometimes you just want it to be a little bit quicker. You've got a quilt that you know is going to be washed a gazillion times because it's being given to a little one, or if I'm making a quilt for my dog, I will probably not take the time to hand sew the binding down. I'm going to want to machine sew it down. So there is a little bit of difference between how I prepare a quilt if I'm going to machine sew my binding or if I'm going to hand sew my binding. The binding itself gets made exactly the same way. Doesn't matter how I'm going to sew it onto the quilt, the binding itself is the same. So for my binding strips, my personal preference is a 2.5-inch strip. But before we get to cutting the strips, we need to know how many strips to cut. So with machine binding, as much as it is with hand binding, figuring it out is exactly the same way. I want to measure the entire perimeter of my quilt, so I will do my length plus my width times 2. That gives me a total perimeter of my quilt number. Add 12 to 15 inches on it. That gives me extra binding for my mitering my corners and my overlap at the end when I'm finished. Then I want to take that number and I'm going to divide it by 40. Now 40 is the usable width of my fabric, assuming that I'm using regular quilting cottons, which come with a usable width of 40 inches. So I take that number, divide it by 40, and round up the answer to that to the nearest full strip, because you can't very well cut half a strip. But don't worry, check the description. There is a link to the math on how to figure out how much binding you need. Once I figure out how many strips I need, I'm going to cut those number of strips, and like I said, I do like a 2.5-inch wide binding. So I'm going to cut that number of strips, and then we'll sew them together. Okay, so let's sew those binding strips together. I have my binding strips cut, and what I want to do, I'm going to lay the first one down right side up, so I'm looking at the right side, and I'm going to take my second binding strip and lay it down right sides together, so I'm looking at the wrong side of this strip and the right side of this strip. And what I want to do is draw a line right from corner to corner, and I want to be going from the top left to the bottom right, and that is the line that I'm going to stitch on. So just let me put a pin in there for just a moment so I can show you. This is what you want to have happen with your binding. You want it to have a diagonal seam this way. That way you're spreading that seam allowance out over a longer area so that you don't have lumpy binding. Now, if you're wondering about these gloves, I sometimes wear these when I have done a lot of hand sewing and I start to get achy joints, a little bit of touch of arthritis in my thumbs. And also I had a cheese grater accident. So this is covering up the result of that cheese grater accident. So now go ahead and sew all your pieces of binding together into one great big long piece. And then I will show you what to do next. Okay, so here we are at the cutting board. I am going to trim away all this excess. So I am going to take my rotary cutter and my ruler, and I want to line the 1/4 inch mark on my ruler up directly on top of that line and cut away that excess. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to press that seam open. Now we press our binding seams open so that it cuts down on the bulk. And that is also why we join our binding seams on the diagonal like that. It spreads the bulk of that seam out over a much larger area than if we had just sewed them straight up and down like we usually sew things. Now I am going to fold this in half, lining up my raw edges right in here. I want to make sure that I'm lined up on top of myself with wrong sides together, and I am going to press this the entire length of my binding. And then when I have that done, back to the sewing machine. So here we are back at the sewing machine. Now I have already trimmed the quilt. I have trimmed out all that excess batting and backing that is on it. And when I am machine sewing down my binding, I trim right up to the edge of the quilt. I don't leave any batting. Sometimes when I'm hand sewing a batting down, if it's a very thin batting, I will leave a 1/4 of an inch of batting So when I fold my binding over, it is nice and full and I don't have mushy binding. So here we are back at the sewing machine, and I have put on my walking foot. I quite often use a walking foot when I am sewing on binding. Now I've also put the 1/4 inch foot on my walking foot. Some walking feet now have interchangeable sole plates, so you can have different sole plates for them. If you don't happen to have a interchangeable sole plate, use your walking foot, but move your needle position over so that you have a 1/4 inch stitch. Now, the biggest difference when I am machine sewing my binding is that I usually sew the binding to the front of the quilt, flip it over to the back, and then I will hand stitch. I have found I have much better luck machine quilting my binding if I put the binding on the back of the quilt and then flip it over and sew from the front. So I am going to turn the quilt over so that I'm looking at the back of the quilt. I want to start sewing my binding on one of the edges. I don't want to be too close to a corner for when I do my overlapping and my continuous joint. So I want to be somewhere down the side of the quilt, or usually I start along the bottom of the quilt, the bottom edge. So I'm going to start, about halfway down. I want to leave about 6 to 8 inches of the binding just kind of flopping in the breeze. And I am just going to start sewing. And again, I want to be 1/4 inch away. And I find a scant quarter just doesn't work. You want to be the full 1/4 inch away from the edge. So I'm lining up the edge of the quilt with the raw edges of my binding. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start sewing. And I am going to sew all the way down to the corner, and I'm going to stop 1/4 inch from the corner. Here I am, almost to the corner, and I'm going to continue sewing. And I am going to stop when I am 1/4 inch away from that corner. Now you can measure that, or you can use the markings on your foot. With this particular foot, it gives me 1/4 inch marking, so I know when I'm 1/4 inch away. So I can keep on sewing until I'm there, and there I am. So now I'm just going to do a quick little back stitch. There we are. Now I'm going to take the quilt and I'm going to spin it around. So now I'm looking at the quilt again in the direction that I'm going to sew. I am going to take this binding and pull it straight back. And when I pull it straight back, what I want to do is I want this edge of the binding, the raw edge of the binding, to be still perfectly in line with the side of my quilt. And the fold here is a 45-degree angle. And then I'm just going to bring that forward. And when I bring it forward, I want to make sure that I am perfectly lined up here, right here, and perfectly lined up down there. And I'm going to start sewing again right on the edge. So I'm sewing over all those layers with my 1/4 inch stitch. And I am going to stitch all the way down and stop 1/4 inch from the corner, and repeat that process until I am all the way around the quilt. Let's see if I can do this from a slightly different angle. So I'm going to continue sewing. This is my 3rd corner, and I'm going to sew until I'm 1/4 inch away. Do a little back stitch, and I'm going to turn the quilt. So this is now the direction in which I will be sewing. Right here, I am going to take that straight back. So what I want to be looking at, let's just stick that under the foot so it stays put. What I want to be looking at is that I am perfectly lined up down this edge right here. So the binding is a continuation of the side of my quilt. I have a nice 45-degree fold right here. And then I'm going to bring the binding forward, and I want to make sure that I am lined up perfectly across this edge right here and down the side, and I am. So then, oops, not 100% there. There we go. Now I am ready to start sewing right here at the end, and I'm going to sew 1/4 inch all the way down to our last corner. So here I am all the way around, and I want to stop about 8 inches from where I started. So, forgive this next section. Apparently, my camera malfunctioned when I was filming this, and truly, when I say my camera malfunctioned, I mean I forgot to hit the button and turn it on while I was filming. And by the time I noticed that I had done that, the quilt was finished. So I didn't want to have to repick and show you on the same quilt. So I have added in this extra little section just because I don't want to leave it out. It's too important. But I also didn't want to unpick that whole entire quilt. So sometimes things happen. A little mock-up here that I'm hoping it'll show it a little bit better and it'll be a little easier to see. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to overlap my strips by 2.5 inches because this is 2.5 inch binding. So I will line this up on the 2.5 inch. I'm just going to put a little mark right there so you can see that's my 2.5 inches right there. And I want to cut this binding right on that 2.5 inch line so that I have a full 2.5 inches of overlap. So I'm just going to go ahead and snip that off. And there we go. That's my 2.5 inches of overlap. So the first time that I saw this done, a little bell went off. It was like, oh my goodness, that is so easy. Why have I been making this so difficult? So here's how easy it is. I've got my 2 pieces. I've got my 2.5 inch overlap. I'm going to take this piece. I'm going to open it out like this. So I've just turned it a little bit. I'm going to take this piece and I'm just going to lay it on top. Right sides together. And I'm going to line up the raw edges. So I'm going to line up these raw edges, line up these raw edges. I'm just going to hold that together with a pin. Just like that. And now I'm going to go to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew from this diagonal right here to this diagonal right here. So my next step now is to trim that down, and you can do it with your rotary cutter or with scissors. I'm just going to nip it across with some scissors. I'm going to press that seam open like so. And then I'm going to go to the sewing machine and I'm going to continue and sew the binding down all the way. And that gives me a beautiful little continuous binding every single time. All you have to do is remember the magic rule. However big your binding is how big your overlap needs to be. Okay, so now we're ready to sew the binding down. So now I have flipped the binding over to the front of the quilt and I'm going to be sewing my binding from the front. I have replaced my single hole stitch plate for my zigzag stitch plate. And there is the center right there. I want to center that over top of my binding. Now I have brought the binding around to the front, so I am just a hair this side of my stitch line. So this is the stitch line from when I sewed the binding on, and I want to cover that up. So I am just folding the binding over so that I'm about 1/8 of an inch over top of that line. And then what I want to do is I want to move my needle position over about just a tiny little bit, 1 or 2 pokes maybe, so that I am just going to be sewing right along the edge of the binding right here. I don't want to do true stitch in the ditch because that means I'll miss my binding. So I want to be just on top of this binding. So I'm watching over here to make sure that I'm running true and stitching just on top of my binding. I have also increased my stitch length to a 3. I want a slightly bigger stitch, mostly because I'm going through so many layers of fabric. And I'm just going to go ahead and stitch. And you'll see that I am stitching just to the right of that seam. And this is where I like to use these little clips. You can just use pins. I find the clips are just a little bit easier to handle. I can pull them out a little easier than I can the pins. And I'm just going to keep on sewing. When I get to the corner, I will show you how to miter. Okay, as I'm coming into the corner, I want to keep sewing, and I am going to sew right up until these 2 seams converge right here. So I want to stop sewing just right 1 stitch past. Now I can turn this around and form a beautiful miter. Like that. I'm just going to throw a clip in there to hold that for me. There. Now, quite often when I'm doing this, I will actually use an awl or a stiletto to hold that stitch in place while I'm sewing. But then you can't see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to put a pin there, put my foot down, and put my needle into the down position, and that will hold it. Do a little stitch. There, and I want to get that pin out of there because it's never a good idea to sew over your pins. But it held the miter long enough for me to start my sewing. There, we'll get that clip out. And continue all the way around the entire quilt. So here we go. This is what it looks like on the front. You have a nice strong miter right there in the corner, and you can just see your stitches. And this is what it looks like on the back. So again, you have a nice strong miter there, and you can just see the stitches on the outside of the binding. Now, of course, I would use a bobbin thread that matches the backing. And you can use a decorative or a matching thread to the front. This technique also looks really cool if you use some of the decorative stitches that the machines come with. So there you have it. That is how I machine sew on my binding. Thank you so much for joining me and tuning into this video. I hope that you have learned a few little tips and tricks along the way, and maybe might want to tackle that binding job. Thank you again for watching. This is Kelly Richardson. Happy sewing!